guy that's led this team to the playoffs multiple years in a row, and did this while also having injuries. He hasn't played 82 games in a season in his career. But Ja, he's trying to force his way out of Memphis. Is Ja wrong for trying to force his way out of Memphis? Welcome to Influential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. I'm talking about Ja Morant today. As you see in the title, as you see in the thumbnail, Ja Morant's tenure in Memphis is over. He might, when this video is out, when y'all seeing this video, he won't be traded by this time. But it's very likely that he'll be traded soon, and he's out of Memphis. And this stems from a variety of reasons that I'm gonna get into in this video. I'm gonna try not to make it super long, but leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment what y'all thought, comment what y'all think of the situation going on with the Grizzlies and with Ja Morant currently. Ja Morant in his 6-year career, just started his 7th season, so his 6-year career excluding this one, he's a 2-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA player, 1 Rookie of the Year, and made the All-Rookie team, and was Most Improved Player for whatever reason as the 2nd overall pick, which I think the Ja winning MIP was egregious. There's no reason for a 2nd overall pick who you're expecting to improve to win Most Improved Player. His improvement is expected. This a whole different conversation, but the meaning of the Most Improved Player award, it doesn't hold the same weight and meaning that it did a few years ago. So let's not get into that. Ja got a decent amount of accomplishments 6 years into his career. Been to the playoffs 4 times, and 3 of those seasons came under Taylor Jenkins, and I think this is one of the biggest reasons that it's hard for Ja Morant to succeed in the system now that the Grizzlies have, is that you get rid of Taylor Jenkins, who led that team to multiple playoff appearances, especially when Ja was healthy and not suspended for stuff that he had control over that I'm going to get into in this video. But Taylor Jenkins was a great coach, and I made a video about this, but there's not much continuity in the league when it comes to these coaches anymore, because it's like, what did Taylor Jenkins do to get fired? Taylor Jenkins was not the reason that Desmond Bane was in a slump last year. And Taylor Jenkins is not the reason why Jaren Jackson, as good as a defender as he is still not a great defensive rebounder. Like, he does a solid job getting boards, but for a 7-footer, he's never been a great rebounder. I shouldn't be saying that about a defensive player of the year, a guy that's made all defensive teams. You should be a great rebounder, not just solid. With your frame, the Grizzlies had to go out and get Zach Edey because of Jaren Jackson's because of his inability to get defensive rebounds. So that's not something you could blame on Taylor Jenkins. You had Jonas Valanciunas playing with Jaren Jackson Jr. once again because of his inability to get defensive rebounds. So it's a lot with this team that went wrong, and it wasn't like, I see them firing Taylor Jenkins, I'll never understand that. And now Ja's playing with a completely new coach. He only played in 3 out of 4 playoff games last year because OKC swept him. Even if he played, they probably lose in 5 if he played that last game. It's not like they was going to beat OKC. That just wasn't going to happen. But at the end of the day, this team, it's like, when you fire your coach like that, especially that late into the season, that close to the playoffs, it's hard to build chemistry with the coach to the team because it's a whole new coaching staff now, or coaching system. The coaching staff was pretty much the same, but it's like their new coach. It's different stuff that he wants to implement with the team and different stuff that he wants to do. And let's just talk about some of the other players that they have lost. Dillon Brooks, who in Ja's 4 playoff appearances, Dillon Brooks was there for 3 of them. He was the heart and soul of that Grizzlies team. He was their best perimeter defender. He was hitting a few threes every game. Like, Dillon Brooks, even as toxic as he might be, he was a great defender. He brought the hustle, the grit, and just energy to that team. Like, that team was a vibe. They were a fun team to watch. They were young and fun. Like, I know they got eliminated early by the Jazz and Ja's first playoff run, but Ja Morant, he hit a game-winning floater to eliminate the Warriors in the play-in tournament to get them to the playoffs, to put them in a series against the first seed, the Jazz. They lost in 5 as the 8th seed, but even being able to take one game when you were a team that finished as the 9th seed, you shouldn't even been in the playoffs. But you won the play-in game against one of the most decorated teams of the last decade, and you went. It's not like they went toe-to-toe with the Jazz, but they stole one game and didn't get swept. And then it's like Dillon Brooks played Dylan Brooks was great for his team. I need to pull up Dylan Brooks' stats because obviously, like I said, the defense that he just plays is just he gives you amazing defense. He's only been a one-time All-Defensive player, which is surprising to me. But his time in Memphis, he was given the Grizzlies 14.5 points per game and 3 rebounds, almost a steal a game. And then he didn't average that many turnovers around 2 a game, and he averaged 3 fouls per game. And he made All Defensive Second Team in 2023, which was the season that they all got eliminated in the first round again. But Dylan Brooks was great for this team, so losing him, that really hurt this team because they haven't been able to do much since he's left. Like, you don't have that Dylan Brooks replacement. It's hard to find that. Like, you can't just replace somebody like Dylan Brooks. As soon as he left, they didn't make the playoffs, and that was also the year that Ja played 9 games, which I think that came from the injury because one of these seasons he was suspended because his suspension was around 35 games, if I'm not mistaken. Ended one season and started the next one, and then he also had this might have been that same season because I think he had an injury as well. It's like that 2023-24 season, there was no more Dylan Brooks, and Ja was injured / suspended for a majority of that season. And then let's get into this past off season. After Desmond Bane had a down year, they traded him to Orlando to get KCP and some picks. And even though it's still early in the season, neither teams really look great. The Magic were my preseason finals pick. I'm not changing that. They were my preseason pick, so I'm going to stick with it. But neither the Grizzlies or Magic look good, per se. Will look great. The Magic, they'll look better in the last few games. The Grizzlies, they're 3-6 so far this season, and Ja played in 8 of the 9 games. And then this is his worst average since his second season, only putting up 20 points per game, and he's taken 5.4 threes per game, which is down from the last 2 seasons actually. But you don't really need. But he's not even making 1 3 a game. He's making 0.8, and he's shooting 14% from 3. So Ja is good. So getting rid of one of your top 3 players to get KCP as some picks, I don't know if that was a wise decision by the Grizzlies because even with Bane, Ja, and Jaren, you still went to the playoffs, and that's with Ja. He didn't even play the full season. He only played 50 games last year. So with Ja just playing 50 games and you having Ja, Jaren, and Edie, you still went to the playoffs as the 8th seed. You still won in the play-in and secured that spot as the 8th seed to play OKC, and you pushed them in one of those games. Obviously, you didn't do much, still got swept. But a fully healthy Ja with more chemistry with that team, maybe they are a higher seed. Who knows? So it's like, is Taylor Jenkins supposed? And like, obviously the goal is to win, but it's like if Taylor Jenkins is missing Ja for 32 games, Bane is off, Jaren Jackson still can't get defensive rebounds for nothing. He averages 6 rebounds for his career, 6.4, something like that. And 5 of those are defensive rebounds. You're telling me as a 6'11", you're a 7-foot power forward, all you can get is 5 defensive rebounds? I don't think that shouldn't be what you're getting from your power forward. But back to Ja this season, he's averaging 20 points per game, only giving you 7.3 assists, giving you a steal per game, which that's something he's been doing consistently since his 3rd season. So Ja. And then let's talk about some of the off the court stuff, which I think it's really been blown out of proportion because obviously he messed up flashing the gun on the Instagram Live. That's not something you should be posting. Regardless of who you are, it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, sport. That's not something you should be doing. That's not something cool to be doing on social media. And you see with a lot of rappers that do it. Most of those guys are locked up probably. But for somebody in his position, that's something. He made a mistake. He did something dumb that he shouldn't have did. Ended up getting suspended for it. And then it's no justifying that. It was a dumb thing to do. It was a dumb thing to post. Like, I can't defend Ja when it comes to that. He should have been more aware, especially as an athlete. But he also needs the right people in his ear. Like, he can't be surrounded by a bunch of yes men. He has to be surrounded by people that's going to tell him, hey, maybe you shouldn't be recording this. You shouldn't be flashing this gun. Like, at the end of the day, like, maybe, I'm sure he has the gun for protection of his family. But there's no need for him to be flashing that on his Instagram Live. That's just unnecessary. The suspension, it is what it is, but that is on Ja. That was just something unnecessary that he shouldn't have did. So it's no defending him when it comes to that. That was a dumb decision. But aside from that, even the stuff with the team that lied on Ja Morant at the court, it's like that's not something that Ja can control. If he's trying to hoop at the court and then there's a team lying on him, they're going to do that because it's Ja Morant and they can make money off of that. It's not just women that lie on men, it's men, and it's not just the opposite race either. Like we saw with Kyron Lacey, how it was a black woman that lied on him. So, and that's a whole nother conversation. But people lie on other people all the time, and it was funny how this one mistake painted Ja as this evil person. That one mistake alone of him flashing that gun on Instagram Live makes everybody think, oh, he's a thug, he's this and that. Well, I'm sure he didn't have any intentions behind that post. He was just vibing and posted up with his gun and listening to music. I'm sure that meant nothing. But now that one post paints this image that, oh, this team said that he pulled a gun on him and did this and that at a basketball court. Everybody is falling for the narrative and believing it. And then it's been proven that that wasn't true and that that team lied. I don't know what happened with the team after that because, quite frankly, that's embarrassing for you to lie like that because you want attention. And it's embarrassing that everybody believes it's off for this one mistake. Since why is it guilty till proven innocent? Is it not innocent till proven guilty? Why is that? Why are we trying to change that? So this one mistake is really painting the narrative around Ja that's really unnecessary. And I don't think it comes from him being in Memphis. That's not the problem. Him being with the Grizzlies, him being in the city of Memphis, that's not the problem. Because you can go to any city and things can happen. He could have been in Milwaukee. That still could have happened. Like he could have been in Milwaukee posted up with a gun. Who do people in Milwaukee not own guns? I'm sure people in Milwaukee own guns. So that excuse or this narrative that it's only because he's in Memphis, that's just not true. Because honestly, that's where he's at. So we can't use hypotheticals to pretend to like, oh, what if it happened here? If he was here then maybe it wouldn't happen. If he was there, how can you confirm that it wouldn't happen? There's no proof behind that. And then the gun celebration, I think that's really, yeah, like I said, him posting with the gun on his Instagram and then him doing the gun celebration as a 3-point celebration in a game, that doesn't sit right with me because the fact that he got fined $75,000 for that, but when LeBron does it, it's not a problem. When Dyson Daniels does it, it's not a problem. Quentin Grimes hits a game winner and he does it, nobody cares. It's not even a conversation. Nobody's talking about it the next morning because they want to focus on other stuff. But why is that going unnoticed? Because if Ja did that, it's a problem. Ja gets fined $75K for doing a gun celebration, a gun gesture, but Quentin Grimes and Dyson Daniels can do it. And these are recent examples. The LeBron example is from a few years ago before Ja was in the league. When Dyson Daniels and did it, this is recent. It was Dyson Daniels last season, and then it was Quentin Grimes this season after hitting a game winner. Like, are they not pointing finger guns after hitting a three? That's just a normal celebration. Why is that a problem when only Ja does it? Because it's just dumb narrative around him from one post and then a made-up lie from some stupid 15-year-old at a basketball court. So you telling me NBA players can't even pull up to hoop now because you have 15-year-olds who are going to lie on them because of this fake narrative. Running Ja out of Memphis. It's so much attention and pressure on him for no reason. It's like some of this stuff he simply can't control. He's been injured a few years. Some of those injuries he can't control. Really the only situation that he has control over is him posting that gun on Instagram. It's no reason for him posting that gun to be turn into this entire thing where no matter what he does, it's going to be a narrative around him. But meanwhile, people are praising Anthony Edwards but don't want to pay attention to the real life stuff that he has going on. Why is that not being talked about? Nobody wants to talk about Anthony Edwards. And I don't have no issue with Anthony Edwards, but the way that Ja's talked about, I don't see how Anthony Edwards isn't talked about the same way. But I think, and then Ja, he's out of it. He said that another area where Ja messed up at is the interview after the Lakers game when he said, ask the coach, and I know there was a team suspension, but if the team is going to suspend Ja for saying that for one game, why doesn't the coach get suspended? I'm not saying that Ja was in the right, but the coach also called him out in the media, so why can't the coach face anything for that? Why can't the coach and Ja both serve 1 game suspensions? Because it's not like Ja's the one that started this. The coach said something too. It wasn't during the timeout. It wasn't privately. It was publicly in a post-game interview, so the coach can get away with that, but Ja can't say anything. So he can question Ja. The coach can question Ja's leadership in a post-game press conference, but Ja in a backstage interview, he can't say nothing about the coach. That doesn't work. So both of them should have been suspended for one game, not just Ja for the comments he made when he said ask the coaching staff. Now Ja, you did go 3 of 14, so I don't know what you. So saying to ask the coaches is that's pretty funny. But if your star player is playing bad and you don't think they can help your team in a win, okay, it makes sense to bench him. But why are you questioning his leadership off of one bad game? There's no reason for you to question his leadership when you've barely coached Ja Morant. And Taylor Jenkins coached him from his rookie season, his first 6 seasons in the league. You were only a coach for like 10 games, or no, I think that was the Nuggets coach, Mike Malone, that got fired with 9 games left. But this current Grizzlies coach doesn't have much experience coaching Ja, so how can you question his leadership when he's led this team to the second round? When he's led them to top 3 finishes in the West before. He's led them to 4 playoff appearances, and you're questioning his leadership from one bad game? The benching isn't the problem. It's the fact that he publicly questioned Ja's leadership when he's been. So you telling me a guy that's led this team to the playoffs multiple years in a row and did this while also having injuries. He hasn't played 82 games in a season in his career. But Ja, he's trying to force his way out of Memphis. Is Ja wrong for trying to force his way out of Memphis? Y'all let me know. I think it's a double-edged sword. I think he's wrong and right in a sense. Where I understand his frustration where the offense isn't really catered around him. Like, he might run a lot of pick and rolls, but it's a pick and roll, so the main objective of a pick and roll is to get it to the center or whoever is the screen setter at that time. It's like the offense isn't catered around him. This is one of his worst. This is probably worse than his rookie season because, yes, definitely worse than his rookie season because he's not as efficient. He might be averaging more than he averaged his first 2 seasons points-wise, but he looks disengaged. He looks like he simply doesn't want to be there, which I can understand. You get rid of 2 of your top 4 players in the 2 to 3 year stretch. You get rid of Dillon Brooks and Desmond Bane, who are key pieces to that team. You have to bring in you're limiting the spacing by bringing in Zach Edey, who's not a 3-point shooter, but Jaren Jackson can't get defensive rebounds for a 7-footer, so that limits the spacing. And he's never been a good 3-point shooter, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be a great 3-point shooter to be a great point guard, because he's showing us that. And I don't know why he's taking more threes these last few seasons. Like, his drives per game is at his all-time low with just 10 drives per game. Why is he only getting to the basket 10 times? That shouldn't be happening with Ja Morant. He's one of the most explosive and athletic point guards in the league. Now he's still getting 6 free throws per game, which is great, and he's shooting 95%. But it's like, aside from that, it hasn't been any positives. Like, this might be the worst defensively that Ja's looked in these last few years. And then it's like, yeah, like I said, you get rid of Brooks, you get rid of Bane, you fire Taylor Jenkins for really no reason. It was no reason for Taylor Jenkins to be fired because some of that stuff he simply couldn't control. And this team was in the playoffs 4 times in 6 seasons with Ja, and he's been either injured or suspended in every season. He hasn't played a full season. So it's like this team is just going in the wrong direction. So I don't think Ja's wrong for not wanting to be there because it's simple. Like, they don't want to win. They don't want to build around Ja. If you really wanted to build around Ja, you would have found. You said you wouldn't bring back Dillon Brooks under any circumstances. For what? Dillon Brooks was not a cancer to that team. He might have been a menace to the rest of the people around the league, but he was not a cancer to the Grizzlies. He was one of the Grizzlies' most impactful players. Then you fire Taylor Jenkins, that's who Ja looked the best under. When you build chemistry with a player for so long and develop him in that system, it's going to be hard for him to get adjusted to a new coach's system so fast. So I do think Ja could handle it a bit differently. I think obviously he wants to be out. I think it's just different ways he could go about wanting out instead of forcing his way out and taking a lot of unnecessary threes and just being disengaged. Like, at the end of the day, you still want to win. You still want to play your best. Even if you want to be traded from Memphis, express that to the front office probably that you want to be out, but don't play bad on purpose. That's one thing I wouldn't recommend. Don't play less than what you know you're capable of on purpose to get out of Memphis. Cause understand where he's coming from, but that's just not something you need to do. And if I'm the Heat, if I'm Pat Riley, I'm looking at this like I definitely want to put together a package for Ja Morant. I heard the Kings are interested. No, the Kings are a super play-in team. You already got your guards. You got Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder. You don't need anybody else. Keep them and get a bench. That's what the Kings need. You don't need Ja. But if I'm a team like the Heat, I'm definitely looking at Ja because the Heat culture still exists. Like they might not have Jimmy now, but what Pat Riley did by adding Jimmy when they already had Bam and other pieces around, I think you can do that with Ja. Like they might not, and especially in a weaker Eastern Conference, they have a good chance of getting to the finals again. Now, will they win it if they get Ja? Who knows? But if you plug in Ja, add him with Bam and Tyler Hero and the Wiggins, like that'd be a great squad. And I think like that whole it's Miami, that's not the best place for him to go. I don't think that'll really matter when he's in that Heat culture because we're talking about the basketball here. I don't think the city has really changed Ja Morant. I think Ja's just been the same dude and he posted one dumb clip and that's what his entire career has been painted as now. Like him doing the gritty, like he can't have fun. A lot of NFL players do it now, but when Ja was doing it, he was being too cocky and arrogant. I don't see how that's a problem, but it's never a problem when the NFL players like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase do it. He can't do a celebration. Like one clip changed Ja Morant's entire career, and that's sad. That's what the media made it out to be. But if I'm a team like the Heat, that's exactly who I want to get as my point guard. I heard the Rockets might try to get him. I think that's a bad idea. You're just looking for a name at that point. You don't have the money for it, and you don't need you need a point guard, but you need a playmaker. You don't need somebody that's like John's he's a good playmaker, but he's still a score first point guard. You don't need that. You need somebody who's like 6'2" or 6'3" and just can play make. He don't got to play defense. He don't got to rebound. You just need a guard that can play make. You're the Rockets. Just a point guard that can play make. That's all you need to get Houston. But if I'm in Miami, I'm definitely looking at Ja. I think he'd be a great fit there. I don't know if the Bucks even have the pieces for it, but the Bucks are another team that I think could benefit from having a Ja Morant type point guard. Ja and Giannis would be insane. Now, who they would trade, that's a different conversation. But I think that he should be the top team trying to prioritize getting Ja Morant. But I think he'll look amazing next to Bam, Hero, and Wiggins. And I think this team will have a great chance of going deep in the East again. Maybe they won't win the championship, but they could be pretty close to it if they get Ja Morant as their starting point guard. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what y'all think about Ja Morant and his situation in Memphis, and share for others to see.